Tom Brady, the GOAT, has officially retired. So, as a bit of a tribute, I thought I'd briefly go over each of his 10 Super Bowl appearances and rank his performances on a tier list. Let's go ahead and dive in with his very first Super Bowl appearance, 2002. With an improbable run to the Super Bowl, Brady had been a relatively unknown backup, thrust into the starting role after Drew Bledsoe's injury. After the controversial tuck rule game in the divisional round, Brady actually got hurt in the AFC Championship, and Drew Bledsoe made his return, leading the Patriots to victory. Belichick was left with a decision of who to start in the Super Bowl and ultimately chose Brady. Entering the big game, the Patriots were 14-point underdogs to the St. Louis Rams. The first half was a quiet one for Brady, as it was mostly dominated by the Patriots' defense, which included a pick six. Brady did throw a really nice ball to the back of the end zone for the only offensive touchdown of the first half by either team. Then, nearing the end of the fourth quarter, the Rams found their way back into the game and tied things up. And Brady to that point had done very little in the second half.
Play for overtime now. I don't think you want to force anything here. You don't want to do anything stupid because you have no timeouts and you're backed up.
The now famous line by Madden was followed by Brady orchestrating his best drive of the game when it mattered most, going from their own 16 all the way to field goal range, setting up the game-winning kick. Overall, that final drive was a tone setter for Brady's future, showing that this kid was potentially something special. But with how much their defense dominated this game, and only throwing for a total of 145 yards, this game ranks as a B-tier performance. 2 years later, Brady and the Patriots had returned to the Promised Land to face off with the Jake Delhomme-led Carolina Panthers. This time around, the Patriots were favored by a touchdown. They asked a lot more of Brady this time around. He ended up throwing 21 more passes than in his previous Super Bowl appearance. In the second quarter, Brady took advantage of a fumble forced by their defense, throwing a touchdown. Then he ended the half with a beautiful deep ball and another touchdown pass. However, with the lead midway through the fourth, Brady made his first crucial mistake, throwing a goal line interception, eventually leading to a Panthers score, and capturing their first lead of the game. But Brady quickly bounced back, putting together an 11-play drive to take back the lead, which was quickly answered by the Panthers. Once again, Brady was left with a minute in the Super Bowl, which started off with amazing field possession due to the kickoff going out of bounds. Spectators were hit with deja vu as they witnessed Brady throwing multiple passes to enter field goal range, again setting up a Vinatieri game winner. With 354 yards and 3 touchdowns, Brady's second Super Bowl lands in A tier after coming back from throwing that brutal goal line interception. Now, before we continue, I gotta thank Netgear for sponsoring this video. So, I'm always watching live sporting events, and nothing is more annoying than getting up to move and hitting a Wi-Fi dead zone. Luckily, there's a way to fix this. Netgear's Orbi Wi-Fi 6E mesh system includes the latest Wi-Fi technology, which has increased capacity to send instant, uninterrupted video to every screen in your house at the same time. This means no more Wi-Fi dead zones and unmatchable Wi-Fi speeds. Amazingly, you can use up to 200 devices at the same time, all with flawless 4K 8K streaming. If you got a big family, there's no need to worry about a drop in quality while everyone's using their devices. The Orbi Wi-Fi 6E mesh system is engineered to cover up to 9,000 square feet of coverage with one router and 2 satellites, meaning I can easily watch anywhere in my house. And if you happen to live in some mansion or something that covers a larger area, you can add additional satellites, each adding 3,000 square feet of coverage. To learn more about the Orbi Wi-Fi 6E mesh system, you can get started today by clicking the link in the description. 2005. With their third appearance in 4 years, Brady had gone from unknown backup to one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. After dismantling the Colts and Steelers in the playoffs, the Patriots were favored once again by 7 points in the big game. This time, it was against the McNabb-led Eagles. Things did not get off to a good start for Brady and the offense though. They struggled to move the ball. It wasn't until there was less than 6 minutes in the second quarter before they were in scoring range, and it ended with Brady losing a fumble on a play-action mishap near the goal line. If it weren't for their defense balling out and forcing turnovers, this game could have been a disaster early on. But they held the Eagles to only 7 points in the first half, and luckily, Brady came alive on their final drive of the half, leading to a short touchdown. Coming out of halftime, Brady led another great drive with some key third down passes. From there, it was mostly about screen passes, the run game, and the defense playing well to go secure their third Super Bowl in 4 years. Like his first appearance, his third Super Bowl performance belongs in B tier. Now, to this point, Brady and the Patriots had only known victory on the biggest stage. 3 seasons later, the stakes had never been bigger. 2008. Brady was on top of the NFL. 50 touchdown passes highlighted an undefeated regular season. After winning their 2 playoff games, were far and away the favorites to win it all versus the underdog Giants. But like previous Super Bowls, things did not start out well. Brady was constantly pressured by the Giants' D-line, and the offense failed to get into any sort of rhythm. Brady routinely missed on deep balls and was sacked 5 times total. It was brutal. And unlike previous Super Bowls, they really never got into any sort of rhythm, only managing to score 14 points. Brady produced his lowest quarterback rating in his Super Bowl career to that point, lost a fumble, and took perhaps the most devastating loss in Super Bowl history. Brady's 4th Super Bowl performance belongs in C tier. Following the loss, it would take the Patriots 4 seasons to return to the big game, and again, it was against the Giants. They weren't as big of favorites in 2012, but people still expected the Patriots to win. In bizarre fashion, Brady started the game off with an intentional grounding in his own end zone, which resulted in a safety. Then, he put together 2 long drives for a total of 10 first-half points. He would lead another solid touchdown drive to start the second half, but he would go on to throw this unnecessary deep ball on first down that turned into an interception. And from there, Brady didn't get much help from his pass catchers. Multiple drops cost them real good chances at winning this game late, and ultimately, Brady wasn't as dialed in as he had been in other Super Bowls. Brady's 5th appearance in this game belongs next to his previous loss to the Giants in C tier. 2015, 3 seasons after that second Super Bowl loss, and the Patriots had made their return. The game was considered an even spread, as they were going up against the best defense in the NFL. Seattle ranked number 1 in points allowed, gave up the least amount of passing yards, and were top 5 in rush defense. In other words, the Legion of Boom was in full swing. To start the game, Brady made a crucial error in the first quarter, throwing a goal line interception, which he would quickly make up for with a touchdown on the following drive. To end the half, in classic Brady fashion, he would go on to execute another 2-minute drill, ending with an absolute dime to Gronk. Somehow the Seahawks found a way to tie it up before half. The Legion of Boom would make their presence felt in the second half, as they made a well-timed interception on Brady, which eventually led to a touchdown. The Patriots were in their biggest Super Bowl deficit in the Brady era. Later on, a huge 3rd and 14 conversion from Brady to Edelman with 10:41 to go eventually led to a touchdown, cutting the lead to 3. At this point, you could tell Brady was locked in. Then after a Seattle punt, Brady led another beautifully orchestrated touchdown drive, taking the lead with 2 minutes to go. After that, we all know what happened, and this game will forever be remembered for the Malcolm Butler interception. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely the play of the game and it saved the Super Bowl for Tom Brady, but looking at his performance alone, that was an all-time second half performance. Considering how good that defense was, he made some incredible throws and strung together 2 huge drives with a 10-point deficit when it mattered most. With a final stat line of 328 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the game's MVP, Brady's 6th Super Bowl performance belongs in S tier. 2017. 2 years after the famous Malcolm Butler interception, the Patriots made their 7th Super Bowl appearance in 15 years. Instead of facing off against the best defense in the league, they took on the best offense, led by MVP Matt Ryan. But by halftime, this was easily the worst performance by Tom Brady in his Super Bowl career to that point, highlighted by no touchdowns and a devastating pick 6 in the second quarter. However, we all know what happened. Somehow, after the scoreline read 28-3, and with the help of a couple huge defensive plays, Brady executed 5 masterful scoring drives in a row, including overtime. 4 of those drives were touchdowns and 2 of them with 2-point conversions. It's single-handedly the most unbelievable half of Brady's career. Brady just consistently made great throws all second half long. And what we witnessed in overtime was just a thing of beauty. Even though that first half was awful, I can't help but put Brady's 7th Super Bowl performance in S tier next to 2015. And this felt like the game that officially made Brady the GOAT as well. 2018, entering their first back-to-back appearance since 2004 and 2005, Brady was ready to push the GOAT argument even further, as they matched up with the Eagles led by their backup quarterback Nick Foles. Going into the game, the storyline around Brady was this situation with his hand, which people felt would play a role, and he ended up dropping a pass in the second quarter, which later got put to shame because of the Philly special. Brady was mostly precise, making some big plays in the first half. Unfortunately, the kicking game wasn't on point that day, but Brady did lead a nice touchdown drive with 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Again, this was overshadowed by the Eagles and their heroics. Like the Falcons Super Bowl, Brady was just phenomenal in the second half. He led 3 straight touchdown drives to take their first lead in the game, and really, this was the first Super Bowl where his team as a whole consistently let him down. They allowed Nick Foles and the Eagles to put up 41 on them, including a drive to take back the lead late in the fourth. Then on the ensuing Patriots drive, the second play resulted in a strip sack, which was mostly just an unbelievable pass rush by Graham. And from there, the Patriots would go on to lose. But looking at its individual performance alone, Brady put together one of the greatest performances by a loser in the big game's history, setting a Super Bowl record with 505 passing yards. That is absurd. So overall, Super Bowl number 8 for Brady was an S-tier performance. 2019. This was the Super Bowl that we all forgot about. A boring 13-3 final was highlighted by how unproductive the Rams' offense was. Brady didn't really play all that good. He threw an interception early, drives constantly stalled, and the Patriots only had 3 points till midway through the fourth. Really, Brady only had one big highlight, which was this pass to Gronk with 7 minutes to go. They would score shortly thereafter, and this effectively won the game. Overall, Brady's lowest career pass rating in the Super Bowl with no touchdowns earns a spot in C tier. Now, to finish this video off, 2021, Brady's 10th and final Super Bowl appearance. In his first season with the Bucs, if it wasn't obvious enough, Brady continued to separate himself as the undeniable greatest to ever do it. But this game was more about the overall dominance of the Bucs team. Their defense was tenacious, holding the Chiefs to only 9 points. With that said, Brady was simply as efficient as ever. He took what the defense gave him, while also utilizing the old deep ball PI trick to his advantage. Brady wasn't asked to carry this team to victory, but he still produced the highest quarterback rating of all his Super Bowl appearances, and he made no big mistakes. I believe the journey of taking this Bucs team to the Super Bowl was an S-tier moment for Brady. It's all-time great. But purely looking at his individual game that day, his 10th Super Bowl appearance belongs in A tier. Brady more often than not shined on the biggest stage, winning 5 Super Bowl MVPs. I believe that he performed at an A tier level for at least half of those 10 games he played in. Now, despite all of his career-defining accolades, my favorite moment of his career wasn't his 28-3 comeback or his legendary games with Randy Moss. No, it will always be this classic play.
Slot, Maroney to the left of Brady in the backfield on 3rd and 9. Direct snap to Tom, back to throw. The rush, he steps up into the pocket, starts to run with it. And there's one man, dives for a first down.